Okay, according to Hangouts, I am live. Welcome from behind enemy lines to Rick's Life as I See It, a 1 hour talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind, or aimed to answer questions from the audience who are kind enough to listen to me. You can either put them in the chat or send them to me at Rick's Life as I See It at gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Also, within 24 hours of this podcast, the audio file will be on Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. Last week, on Wednesday, I had a problem. When I recorded it, it only recorded the last 8 minutes. But then 24 hours later, the full hour was back, so I reloaded it up. So if anybody wants to hear the full show on Wednesday, it's back up there now. So I do apologize for that. Also, I got T-shirts on Spreadshirt.com. Just type in Rick's Life or Spotted Rick, and my stuff should come up. And also, I got a Patreon page. The links are down below the chat on Gun Channels, if anybody's interested. And let's see who we got. We got Patriot, Black Cat, Roosted Films, Rich, Midnight, and that's over on YouTube. On Gun Channels, we got G Webs. Oh, Squib! I forgot to send you a link. Hang on. Let me put one in the thing here for you. And got Squib, Raphael, Timothy. Hey, John Z, long time no see.
Hello. How's it going?
All right, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So, let's see. So we got everybody there. Okay. The last week's competition for the hang on, let me get it here. For the hat, it says no sweat hat. I think it's got something to do with this stuff inside. Is what it's all about. Thumb drive and a few stickers and patches. I think they're all stickers, actually. That was the main prize for last week. And the question was, hang on, let me bring it up here. The question was, the Smith & Wesson 500, nope, sorry, wrong question. The Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum revolver can shoot 3 cartridges, and what were they? And the answer was the 454 Casal, the 45 Long Colt, and the 45 Schofield. I believe I got that right. That's what the answers were in the 3 people that I only had 3 people right in on that one. I didn't think it was that tough myself. But anyway, let me get to my random picker here. And let's see who wins. Grim 90. You are the winner of the hat. So, there we go. Yeah, Rich, John Z does exist.
I'm just a figment of his imagination.
Yeah. Hey, we got Squib in the room, Night Strike, and Clover.
John, you're a figment of something, what we can't say.
All right, Mike.
Rick, did you email a Hangout link to Patriot?
I did. And I sent him one through Gun Channels as well. Hey, Black Cat. Good to see you in the room.
What's going on there, Rick?
Not much. We got feedback here. Why do we got feedback? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let me, anybody on the panel got anything they want to add real quick? No? Right. We're going to go on to I don't have many topics for today, to be honest with you. Either to me, it's been a quiet week, but maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. But to me, the biggest thing that happened this week was Kennedy saying he's retiring as of July 31st. So that gives us a chance to get a conservative, hopefully, a conservative judge in there.
And the left is going bonkers over it. It's awesome.
Absolutely. The left is absolutely losing it all. Totally. You know, they got some Trump mayhem syndrome or something. They just, they just absolutely going bonkers. Terrible. It really is. It's quite funny to watch, really. It's scary and funny at the same time. You know. I think hopefully it will help us. I mean, because most of us are thinking of the Second Amendment and getting some of our stuff passed. Hopefully, the guy will vote in our favor. It will give us. I mean, it's still going to be a 5-4 decision, but it would be a solid 5, I believe. That's my opinion, anyway. I think that's what's happening.
It won't help us unless it gets into some really partisan stuff, and then at that point, it would help. I think. I mean, you look over the last few weeks and months. Look at some of the decisions that have been made already over the last few weeks and months, even with Kennedy there, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The court is already, for the most part, in control by the right, for the most part now. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, don't they have to have, like, when a case is presented to the Supreme Court, how many judges have to say, okay, we're taking? I think that's why Second Amendment hasn't got there, because they don't get enough votes.
Right, yeah.
I think there's got to be 4 judges that say, yes, let's look at it. And I think they're only getting 3 right now.
Yeah, it has to meet requirements to get there, too.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful anyway. Don't burst my bubble too quick.
No, it's pretty cool. I mean, and look, we've got Ginsburg that one's put in the grave and the other on a banana peel, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know, Clover. I don't know, Clover. I think Ginsburg's deal with the devil doesn't expire for another 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a...
Well, she certainly won't retire at this point. I mean, there's no way.
No. I mean, I can't see him retiring anytime soon at all.
Not with Kennedy leaving. There's just no way.
It would be nice, but it ain't going to happen. Yeah, mind you, I know news there goes, Ginsburg is down to her last gallon of formaldehyde. Yeah, hanging in there, but she'll hang in there.
Yeah.
She will.
Maybe she'll fall asleep during some Second Amendment cases and actually err on the side, judge on the side of us accidentally or something.
Yeah, when she wakes up in a daze and votes up for a yes.
Whoa, what did I do? I voted yes. Wrong one.
Yeah. That's what we can hope for. Anyway, what else I got listed on here is I was reading during the beginning of the week. I mentioned some of this on my Wednesday show. Was that, was a satellite spotted in North Korea continuing building their nuclear plants? I had a feeling he wasn't going to change, but we had to give it a chance. Personally,
certainly more than the Democrats want to do. They want to go to war with him.
Oh yeah, they didn't even want to talk to him. I mean, he was willing to talk, so we had to do that part. But I didn't think he would follow through anyway.
I was cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was even optimistic.
At least we were actually trying our hand at diplomacy instead of openly berating him, in the news, in politics, and in the international forum.
Yeah.
Because if you make fun of someone or you chastise them in an open forum or even an international, that's going to piss somebody off. I don't care who you are. You'll get pissed off. You'll get annoyed, and you'll fire right back at whoever was directing it towards you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
No, not always. Not always. I mean, this guy, he might be psycho and do that sort of thing because he's got his fragile little ego, but some people can handle a little ribbing. I mean, he's got to think. He's going to be poking the big bear. He can talk all he wants in front of his people, but out on an international stage, he's nobody.
Well, that is also, I mean, read the articles, read this stuff. And it says that, upgrades are continuing at a rapid pace throughout North Korea's Yongbyon Nuclear Scientific Research Center. We can all sit and judge, and we can Monday quarterback and all this other stuff, but it is all possible they're shooting for nuclear power if they've already got stuff over there. If they're shooting for, do we know that it's weapons grade stuff? Maybe it's being converted over for nuclear power. We know that Korea does not have power through a lot of their country. I mean, is that something that possibly was talked about? And Trump said that, hey, we'll help, secure that, because that's a totally different kind of nuclear stuff.
It is, and it's easier to use a warhead and a reactor than the other way around. But the thing is, though, this is just like the Middle East countries saying, oh, we're just developing it for power. It's like, wait a minute. You've got all this oil. You can run your electrical off of that. You've got all this sun. You can do solar. So what do you need nuclear for? It's because they want to build a weapon. The thing is, I think if North Korea was a credible threat as far as having a functioning weapon and a reliable delivery system, we would have done something by now. I think once our intelligence tells the president, whoever that is, at this point, they're on the verge of actually having it, or they've got it, or they can actually deliver X number of these reliably, blah, 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 blah. At that point, we go in. And go in could just be lobbing 100 cruise missiles at them and taking everything out without one boot on the ground. Going in could be an air war. But I really think what they'll do is they'll pull the playbook out for the first Gulf War, where they pummel the crap out of them, and then they cross the border and go in. Right. And we did it in Iraq back in '91, and it worked. And I think they could use the same playbook on North Korea if they had to. But I think the reason they haven't done anything to now is our intelligence says this guy's doing a lot of talking and posturing, but he's really not anything to worry about.
But Squib, the properties of how a nuclear reactor is made for power is way different than a nuclear warhead. Okay, so at most, if they get nuclear power, at most they can use the leftover material or the excess material that's burned out as to make dirty bombs. That's all you can make out of those.
I know. What they've done in the past is they've bought surplus Russian warheads and used them in power plants, which is not efficient and not easy. But I haven't heard of anything happening the other way around, where you're using power plant stuff for a.
It's not possible.
Right. Okay. And dirty bomb or not, all I'm saying is, what do they need it for?
They don't.
Do they really need it? They don't. No.
Nobody needs it. We have hundreds of bombs, and we don't need them.
No, I wouldn't say we don't need them. The fact that we have them is why the world is free today.
Yeah, within reason. Yeah.
I don't believe that anybody needs a nuclear weapon right now, because it's one going off can destroy the world. It causes a chain reaction.
No, one going off. No, going off will not destroy the world. However, one going off at all would be a bad thing. 500 of them going off would be a bad thing. 5,000 of them going off would be a bad thing. But you've got to have a reliable weapon system, and you have to have a reliable delivery system. What's that?
I don't know.
What did he say?
Say something, Clover?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought I heard John say something. But the thing is, though, if North Korea wants to come out and go, all right, we're not in the nuclear game anymore, then stay out of it altogether. Don't go, well, we're just using it for power generation. How about if you feed your people first? Then we'll talk about power generation. You know what I mean? But I think that we would have taken military action by now if he was a threat. I think the news likes to talk because they need stories. I think Kim Jong-il, whatever the little Kim, he wants everybody to be afraid of him. The same way Saddam wanted everybody to be afraid of him. It's better to have these people afraid of you than have to deal with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because, I'm sure the guy's scared of getting attacked. I'm sure he's scared of his neighbors, even though he's allied with China and Russia to some point, and he's probably scared of South Korea and the United States. So it's better to posture like you're a bully than, and I'm not saying anything good about the guy. The guy's not good at all, but, I mean, he's not a threat yet.
No, the Kims and Saddam was that way. You got the mullahs, you got Gaddafi. You've got multiple. I'm thinking Venezuela, who was down there. What's his name? Castro was that way.
Chavez.
Chavez. You've got all of these. You've got all of these ne'er-do-wells all across the world, and they're no teeth bullies for the most part. What needs to happen? We police the world with stuff like this a lot of times. And what needs to happen, is old school clandestine, get in there and, push the populace to take them out and take their country back. That's what needs to happen instead of, going in after, we're going to go in after Saddam or Kim or, whoever it might be. Right. That's what used to happen once upon a time, that the United States would topple countries, but we did it by going in with a clandestine operation and taking that sentiment with the regular people that was already there, and then pushing them to overthrow their government, their supposed government, and take the country back. And that don't happen anymore. Now we go in and we just take out the leader for whatever reason. It seems like, and that destabilizes the situation.
Oh well, wait. Now, as far as taking out we don't assassinate the leaders of other countries since what was late 40s, early 50s is where we passed that law. But the CIA does go in there, and the CIA does go in there and try to get like you're saying, the local populace to turn and blah blah blah, and that's true. When we went into Iraq. We went in after the Iraqi army, that sort of thing. Yeah, we did find Saddam, but we weren't the ones who hung him. His own people hung him.
Yeah,
so Gaddafi's people are the ones that went after Gaddafi, that sort of thing. So we're supposed to be fighting their military. If we go into North Korea, boots on the ground, or if we start bombing targets or sending cruise missiles, they're going to be at military targets. If it's a civilian target, it's going to be a mistake, or it's going to be because they're hiding weapons in a civilian target. Otherwise, though, it'll be our military versus their military. I don't think we're going to have some sort of special forces sniper team with Little Kim in their sights. Maybe the CIA might do that sort of thing, but they're all off book, right?
Well, that was my point, though, is that we don't need to be doing that anyway. What we need, what these countries need, is these countries need their people. There's far more people in these countries, than there are, military or, leaders or whatever. And a lot in the military are not loyal. If the people was to rise up, I mean, you think about it. I mean, even equate it to this country, right? If we was to have an issue to where the people went against the government, how much of the military would dissent and actually join the people? They're not going to go against their own. And it's the same. It's going to be the same in any country.
No matter
you're going to have that happen. So, you know, the question is, why don't these people do that? Why is there never that groundswell? What, you know?
Because they don't know what we know. They're not in a free society where they have access to education and communication the way we do. They're used to generations and generations of taking orders from these tyrants. They only know what the government tells them. Think about the people who were on the islands that we were capturing in World War II, the civilian population that was on these Japanese islands that were committing suicide because they were told by their government, if you let the Americans capture you, they will rape you and torture you. So they were jumping off cliffs. They were throwing their children to their deaths because they were scared of us, and we only captured a handful of Japanese soldiers and civilians on these islands because that's all they knew. They were isolated, they believed their government, and they were more scared of us, and they didn't need to be.
You're right there. Just real quick, Patriot, you finally made it.
I did, but I cheated, so I don't think it counts.
It worked. You're here. You're here. Good. Now you know how to get here. So
all the links kept sending me to an empty call, so I figured you guys were just doing that on purpose.
Well, it was. It was conspiracy, actually.
Well, thanks for the invitation.
I'm glad you're here. So, moving on. I said I don't have a lot here to talk about. I mean, I could bring up the shooting in Maryland, but it seems that the media is not really picking that one up too much, from what I can see.
Well, I got something to say about that, Rick. That was freaking amazing. Well, I don't know, was it the sheriff or the police chief or whoever it was that they interviewed? And he's like, I'm not telling this guy's name. Don't ask me this guy's name. And I would recommend that you don't put out this guy's face and the picture and this guy's name. I know it's going to happen anyway, but we're not going to do that here. He's like, that's all in the report, and you'll have access to it if you want it. But I'm not about to show his picture and tell his name. And I'm like, thank God somebody finally
got it right.
Yeah, it's like, thank God somebody's finally saying it.
Yeah, but then I heard somebody, did I hear it? Of course, the first thing they said, we need more gun controls. Damn, can't breathe in Maryland right now with a gun.
Well, what you need is some people that's carrying and got a little bit of sack on them, unlike the dude that tweeted from under his desk hiding.
Yes.
Like, really?
Very well said, Clover. Very well said.
Well, to be fair, in Maryland, nobody carries unless you're like former law enforcement or current law enforcement.
Well, you're in the office. You got a stapler you can throw at somebody and nothing else. Come on.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's another thing here is I notice it's nearly every 50 states say this, that if you're former law enforcement, you know, about carrying, just because you're a policeman doesn't make you a great shot. I've seen the policemen here in my town. I shoot better than they do. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that really gets me. So, yeah, that's just my little rant.
Yep, there was so many opportunities to, you know, they could have at least mitigated some of the tragedy there, I think.
Yeah.
Whether it be people ignored gun laws or whether it be that gun laws were more lax, or that somebody just, like I said, had enough sack to do something. He reloaded. The dude under his desk was like, I hear him reloading. Why the heck did you not rush him?
Yeah.
He's reloading. Tackle his rear end to the ground. And 3 or 4 more people in the office holler for them to come over there and help.
Yeah. Instead of that,
hey, Clover,
you have enough presence of mind to hide, and you have enough presence of mind to know that the dude's reloading, but you're going to tweet instead of actually do something about it. Really?
Oh, yeah. That's the way people are today. I'm surprised he didn't shoot video and post it on Facebook while it was happening. But think about this, though. The guy was using a shotgun. All right? It's not the evil black rifle that they keep warning us about, right? So are they going to try to ban shotguns in Maryland? And then are you finally going to get these guys that like, oh, I got my hunting rifle, I got my shotgun, to finally get up and go, whoa, hold up, this affects me now. I mean, that's one of the things we've been complaining about for for a long time is how many people in the community say they're 2A, but all they give a crap about is their deer rifle and their shotgun.
I think.
And
well.
You know, now this could affect them.
You gotta be fair and say that there's also people that, you know, feel the same way about their defensive handguns. That's all they care about. They don't hunt, whatever. You've got people that's got their tactical, you know, whatever, and that's all they got. That's all they care about, right? It's not, you know,
Well, that's
you
true,
know,
but
you're
what I'm saying though
you're
is
walking
that
down the road of FUDs is what you're doing. I get it, but you got to realize that there's FUDs came from, obviously they came from Elmer Fudd and the shotgun, and I'm going duck hunting or whatever, or rabbit hunting, right? But nowadays, in today's time, FUD is, I mean, that can apply to any little bitty niche that's all that particular person likes or cares about. You know, and what's going to happen, you're right, I agree with you, but what's going to happen is by the time it gets around to them taking the hunting rifles ain't going to have the handgun people and the quote-unquote assault rifle, you know, people, because they're going to be, oh, well, they've already taken mine, I don't care. Serves you right. You should have been there when I was there. There's not going to be that.
But in the sense that they always like to blame the tool, not the dirt bag behind it, the tool was what's typically considered a hunting weapon, and the people that only have the hunting weapons never seem to care when, I shouldn't say all of them, but enough of them that they catch flack over it, never seem to care when it's nothing that affects their bolt action rifle or their pump action shotgun. And what if Maryland goes, oh my goodness, now we got to do something about shotguns because this guy came in here. They blame the tool, not the person, right? Now it affects it. Would that get some people to get off their butt and go, wow, maybe I should have been paying attention before now because now it's affecting me? I don't know. I mean, it's not a great way to get people motivated, but
this does not. Rick was right, and Rick hit on it earlier when he said it's really not getting a whole lot of traction. And there's several things about this particular incident that doesn't fit the narrative, and there's several things about this particular incident that it's a tragedy, but I'm in the aftermath that I'm really pleased to see happen. First of all, this was most of the buzz that's happened around this is all political rhetoric and with fake news and the media's the enemy and all of this, that it may have sparked this guy to do something. Well, that's not true, because if you go back, this guy has had problems with this particular newspaper. They published an article about him or something years ago, and he actually went in, I think, and tried to sue him, and he lost. It got kicked out. And so he's had issues, run-ins, whatever, with this newspaper for years now. So there's history there. So this all that he was incited by Trump, or he was incited by Maxine Waters, or whatever, whichever side wants to try to lay this on, that's just bull. That's not true. Yeah. So that's where most of the news coverage and the talking seems to be on this, is around that whole, fake news type thing. But in the aftermath, there's a couple of things that are also not fitting the narrative really. The sheriff that I talked about that stood up and was like, we ain't showing his picture. We ain't giving out his name. We're not going to do that, and then the newspaper as well. The newspaper, they put out a newspaper the next day. They did not do his name and all that. They honored the people that had fallen or whatever. They had their pictures. They told their stories. They were talking about the victims. They weren't talking about the murderer, right? There's just, I don't know. It's got a weird. This one has a weird feel to it compared to anything before it.
It does. But a lot of the chats going on here is, I believe, like they said, Maryland's a May issue state. Mm-hmm. And you got to have probable cause, and according to them, nobody has it. So that's why. Well,
they could have. I think somebody at that paper could have had probable cause, because there was credible threats to them, and at one time they had the opportunity to file charges against this guy. Well, you would think if at one time they had that opportunity to file charges against this guy, that would have been a probable cause, right?
I would think so. Yes. Yeah, but I believe they didn't want to charge him because they didn't want to escalate the problem.
Yeah, no, I get it. But what if they said, well, we don't want to file the charges, but can we get one of our employees get a license to carry, or can we all get a license to carry, just in case this guy decides he's going to go crazy.
These businesses are too politically correct. They're too worried about getting sued by somebody who's afraid of somebody carrying a gun at work. They're too worried about getting sued about somebody going Rambo in the event of when they'd rather deal with paying off people, paying any lawsuit costs if somebody sues because they weren't protected, as opposed to the liability of somebody having a gun at work. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying I've had to deal with this at my last job. They were all PC. They were all socialists. They didn't know shit about guns. Sorry. And they lived in this bubble, and workplace violence had happened at some of the competition, at some of the places that were just like our place, did the same line of work, had the same kind of people, some of the same employees, bounced back and forth between those companies. And they were ignorant to think that it would never happen there, especially with that many people and so many people coming and going and people quitting in anger, getting fired in anger. I mean, there was a big turnover rate. And, excuse me. And I was always concerned that we would be next. When we had the bomb threat at work and we had to evacuate the building, I'm pretty sure that was a disgruntled employee. Good thing they didn't come in with a gun, because nobody there was armed. And even though the police are down the street, that's no guarantee that they could get in and take care of it. The building had all kinds of twists and turns, a lot of places somebody could have hid, and it's not easily cleared. One of the things I pointed out to them when I saw the layout when they built it was, guys, if we have to evacuate the building, or the police have to clear this, or firefighters have to get in here for something, the way you've got it laid out is not conducive to any of that. They didn't care. They're a bunch of, businessmen and engineers. They're not thinking like security. They're not thinking like law enforcement. They're not thinking like a first responder. And they lawyer up too. I mean, they're more worried about what their lawyers that they have on retainer say that they need to do in order to protect themselves from losing money.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but that's the way these companies run. That's just the way they are.
Yeah, they have it laid out to get to maximize the most money out of each square foot. They don't care what about how secure it looks.
When I brought the sheriff's department in with the dogs, when they rounded the corner after we went through the main entrance, you could hear a sigh, because they realized, oh crap, this is going to take forever. This is going to wear out the dogs. We're not going to get. I mean, we had law enforcement in there to try to work with us on what would we do in a workplace violence situation. And they were not happy with the fact that the building was laid out in such a way that you'd need tons of people to clear it, because there were so many twists and turns and dead ends and just all kinds of things. And in addition to that, like I said, they're more concerned about an employee complaining that somebody has a gun, legally allowed to carry a gun, but they're at work with a gun and they're afraid. Or they're more worried that somebody with a gun decides that they're going to take it upon themselves to be a pseudo cop or Rambo and do something. They're going to get mad, right? As many people as they were firing left and right from this place, of course they're scared crapless. I remember one of the people, she made it known that she was a concealed carry holder. She did not bring a gun to work, but she made it known that she was a concealed carry holder. During the drill we had with law enforcement, where they were having employees throw rubber balls at her to show she was the shooter. She had a rubber gun, and they had 4 people, and they said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to throw staplers. You're going to throw stuff off your desk. You're going to throw the fire extinguisher. You're going to throw whatever, your chair, whatever you can. But to simulate that, we're going to have rubber balls, and she's going to have a rubber gun. She got 3 of the 4 people before somebody hit her with a ball. And she was actually complaining that the rubber gun was a rubber Glock, not a Walther. So that kind of got the cops' attention, because she actually knew a little bit about guns. When they fired her, they had 2 cop cars waiting out front, because they thought for sure she was going to spaz out, pull a gun out of her purse, and shoot human resources in the face. Didn't happen. She walked out of there calmly, never came back, went and got another job, blah, 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 blah. But these are the sorts of things that they got their lawyers telling them they got to watch out for. These are the kind of people that are saying, look, I'm an American. I have a right to do this. This isn't against the law in our state. And people in these big companies don't want to hear that stuff.
No, they don't.
They don't.
Let me interrupt you for a minute, and because we're at the halfway point, I want to do my quiz real quick. Sorry to interrupt you there, Squib, but what call it? Okay, the quick quiz is we got a little sort of like swag pack here. Got a Clover Tech charms sticker and some other stuff here. Is supplied by Clover Tech Productions. I'd like to say that's who gave them to me. And the question is, hang on, which one have I got here? Oh yeah, okay. What gun manufacturer or company, whatever you want to call it, used the sales slogan, "Nothing left to envy"? There's nothing left to envy. To do with their gun. It ain't that hard. Want me to read it again? What gun manufacturer or company uses the sales slogan, "Nothing left to envy"?
I know one person that would probably know it if they were out there. I don't have the gun channel side up. Anybody got the gun channel side up?
Yeah, I have. It's not there yet.
Ponry on YouTube.
Yep, he's got it. Yep. Good man. I said, yeah, Vanessa would have known it, because that's what made me think of it. So you win it, Sean. So there you go. You win the quick quiz. Yeah, I mean, is it pronounced Coonan? What's the correct pronunciation of that name?
I believe it's Coonan, yeah.
Coonan? That's what I thought. So that was the answer, gentlemen and ladies, who's ever listening. So there we go. All right, back to our discussions.
Well, I was taking the really long way to say I agree with Clover. Clover's right. He's coming at it from a rational standpoint of somebody who lives somewhere where maybe it's more acceptable to do that. And it's unfortunate that more places aren't in that mindset. If they'd listen to law enforcement, if they'd listen to their employees who were lawful concealed carry holders, things like that, instead of listening to the lawyers and just thinking about the worst case scenario. And yeah, sure, there are some people out there who have a lawful concealed carry permit, their gun is legal, everything is cool, and they do something stupid and make all of us look bad. It does happen. Just like there are cops out there that do stupid stuff and make all cops look bad. It just happens. It happens with everything. And it's unfortunate, but that's the stuff that gets the attention. That's the stuff that if this had not been a guy coming in there because he had a beef with the paper and using a shotgun, if it had been workplace violence because an employee was getting fired and he decided to take out his concealed carry. I mean, I know we don't hear about stuff like that very often, but we do hear about concealed carry people doing dumb stuff like shooting the getaway car and stuff like that. It would probably get more attention, unfortunately, and that sucks, because there's always those few bad apples that ruin it for everybody. But I am taking the long way to say that I agree with Clover. I don't know how you get past all the lawyers and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be one that's going to be working for years trying to figure that one out. All right. Anybody else got anything else they want to talk about before I move on to what I wrote down here? I said this on Wednesday. Senate Bill 3135 is being introduced that no federal money may be used for a gun registration. I read that one. I mean, these little things people don't notice, but I happened to see that one, which I thought was good. That if they want a gun, if the government or whoever wants to pass the gun registration bill, they're going to have to find some way to fund it because they're not using government money. Basically, that's what they're trying to say. So I think that's good. Because there's less chance of them doing one. They got to use their own money. But then again, as I was mentioning on Wednesday, I mean, like here in Rhode Island, you have to take this little 20-question test, and it gets sent off to some department of the Rhode Island government. Then they send you a blue card, which gives you the right to purchase a weapon. Now, you don't have to keep doing it every time. One blue card is good for life. But what I'm saying is, so technically, if I don't buy a gun, and they say, well, let's go round up some guns, and they got this list of people who got blue cards, that's basically gun registration. In a roundabout way, I feel. Isn't that the same with in Illinois? That card they have. They know who has guns and who doesn't in that state. So, it is there in a roundabout way. Problem is, we need to stop it. These states here have got it. We don't want any more to have it. Because I don't think it's right. Because once, as the saying goes, once it's registration, it goes to confiscation. And we've already got that here in that stupid ass bill here in Rhode Island. They got it labeled as domestic violence bill, but it's one of the red flags. Somebody says I'm a threat, they can come and get them without my. I get my day in court up to 14 days after they come and taken them. So.
I got a question about that.
Yeah.
If they can't use federal money for registration, does that include future taxes that they set up so that they could do, like their ammo tax, their whatever tax? That would be included, that they could use a future tax then?
Yes, that would be included if this passes. Let's see if it passes. That's the question. It was only introduced a couple of weeks ago. There's more like it's still sitting on the floor, under Mitch McConnell's under his big list of stuff. He still has he still has the reciprocity bill still sitting there. And I heard the other night, I was listening to some radio station, Pro 2A, and somebody says their gut feeling is that's going to be brought up before the end of the year. I don't know if it is or not.
Well, it's just been referred to Homeland. It's been referred to the Homeland Committee. That's where it sits now. Hadn't been taken up by Homeland Committee, just been referred. So
yeah.
I don't know about this one.
I would love to see it. We need it with the way things are going.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that from my point of view of sitting in this part of the country that I sit in.
Yeah.
I got to have all these. Everybody knows I got 7 different permits.
Right.
I need. I need to get out of Rhode Island. I need Connecticut, Massachusetts to start with.
This is it's a money thing, and here's a problem when you get into government and bureaucracy and the money thing. They can pass this that says, "Oh, no federal funds can be used, to impose any state, encroachments on liberty, whatever, blah blah blah." Right?
Yeah.
But then all the states have to do is shift money around, and then that's not the case. So they can go, "Oh, we didn't use it for that. We used it for this over here." But then they took the money for that over there and they used it to do whatever they wanted to do. It's such our state and federal governments, heck, even our local governments in some cases, are such a laundering / racketeering, you know what I'm saying? Project or program that it's ridiculous the way that they shift money around and do different things. So at the end of the day, other than having some kind of legislation on the books that says, hey, you can't do it, I don't know as far as effectiveness. I don't know that it does anything. They've already said, look at sanctuary cities, right? Look at all the states that absolutely just fly in the face of federal legislation, federal regulation, the Constitution, right? Yeah. So why would this be any different? That you know, we talk about all the time how more gun laws are not going to stop somebody that disregards the law from breaking said law, right? So how's a piece of legislation going to stop people that regularly circumvent legislation, regulation, and the Constitution? How's one more regulation going to stop that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the same principle. It really is. Yeah. I mean, what got me was, on the immigration thing. Was it the mayor of Seattle was going to go down to Texas to check out these immigration things because it's so cruel to pull children away from adults, and it's so bad. But look at the city of Seattle. They got Tent City there in the middle of town, and it's filthy. He can't even take care of his own town, and he wants to take care of somebody else's problem. Take care of your own first.
Yeah.
Then there was an article I read that the Seattle police are losing more policemen than they're employing because they're so fed up with Seattle politics because they're not supported. They haven't had a pay raise in 3 years or something like this. So I don't know. It makes you wonder.
That's why you have such a turnover. Law enforcement typically has a really high turnover, and that's why it's dealing with the city and county and whatever politics. And they go somewhere else, and unfortunately, they run into the same thing there eventually, and then they jump back again. And here it seems like we've got 3, 4. Trying to count the city. We don't have any huge cities, but I think there's 4 city departments here in this county, and it seems like the vast majority of them rotate every few years. Either they're with the county, or they're with one city, or they go to another city, or they go back to the county, and it's because they're just tired of that political game, so they bounce around to try to avoid it.
Yeah, they do. Anybody else got anything else to talk about before I move on? No? Okay. My next thing I was going to move on to is nothing to do with that. It's to do with actually. I sent you an email, Clover. I don't know if you got it about green screen.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, as everybody notices that I got my lower thirds back up. I was having trouble.
Yeah, I do got a suggestion about your lower third since you brought it up.
Okay.
Use your toolbox over there.
Yeah.
And enable your lower third.
Well, what's that going to do?
That will shift your screen up to where everybody's avatar doesn't cover your lower third.
Now,
click on where it says. There you go. You got it.
Okay.
See how it's up high now, and you can actually see it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, okay. Now,
looks great.
I was having issues with the picture. It was coming across blurry, and I couldn't figure out why. And I was talking to Sean about it, and I've been doing it for weeks. And what I had done since last time I used it was I rearranged all my stuff, and I plugged the UBS off the camera into a hub.
Ah, okay.
And I took it out and plugged it directly into the computer. Now I got a clear screen, a clear picture. So for some reason, from the hub to the computer, it wasn't doing what it was meant to do. I don't know the technical term for it.
Yeah, is the hub got a power? Is it plugged into the wall at all, or just?
Yeah, it's plugged into the wall.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, but it's an old one too, so it might be only like a 1.0 or whatever, and I'm using 2.0, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true too.
That could be the problem too. But I just want to let everybody know that I'm slow at this. But what I was saying in that email, I see I like the the thing I saw yesterday from Ghost Tactical when he was doing his news flash. That was all done by green screen. I'm taking it, and I thought that looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I've got all the stuff, but I've never used it. So I just wondered. I was asking. I sent Clover an email, see if he would do a tutorial on it, like he did on the lower thirds.
Right.
That'd be great.
I can do it for the basic green screen. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's, I mean, like if I just want to use like a picture behind me or something, you know?
Yeah. One of the reasons I haven't yet is I'm still honestly not done playing with it. I've got some anomalies and stuff that happen in mine, and
Okay.
I'm
So
trying to weed those out. I believe it's a lighting issue, and so I'm trying to figure all that out. I really don't want to put something out, and then people go to do it, and then they're aggravated by those anomalies or whatever. But the plan, yeah, I mean, I certainly don't mind sharing the steps to do it.
Philo says Clover should become a YouTube consultant.
I tried that. I think I had like 2 people pay me once upon a time to do some things, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was mainly my 2 main things on that. Oh, 3. Okay. Let me do my end of show quiz. Now this one is really special. This is worth $1 million. I don't even have one, and I'm giving it away. A Clover Tech patch. Not a sticker, a patch.
Yeah, that's a new patch.
Yeah, it's one of the new ones.
How'd that get in there? I
don't know. But I'm giving it away. I'm not keeping it for myself. Plus some stickers. So the question is, this is email only. Email it to rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com by Friday midnight. And the question is, what Soviet pistol was commonly given as gifts or awards to the government or party officials? Got that? I'll read it to you one more time. Where is it? What Soviet pistol was commonly given as gifts or awards to government or party officials? There we go. Email that in to me. To win the Clover Tech patch. You know? That's worth a fortune, guys. Get one of those. You know? So, there you go.
I don't even have one of those.
Well, one of the Clover Tech patches? I don't either. I only got the one in the swag pack I got, and I'm giving it away because I'm that type of guy.
Problem is, I give away too many more. At this point, I ain't gonna be able to buy any more.
Yeah,
I literally got to put some money back into reordering.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I gotta order some patches myself this weekend. Not patches. I'm gonna order some new stickers. Right. Patches I can't afford yet. I'm gonna get some new stickers. The new with my new avatar on them.
Well, did I send you one of your stickers?
I don't know.
Well, that stuff I sent?
I have to go through them all.
It seems like I may have I might have had an extra one of yours left that I sent you.
Now, Rupin, or Jared, sent me a whole box here.
There you go.
Goodies to give away. Hats, knives, scarves. I've even got some AR mag coupler here to give away. So he gave me a bunch of stuff too. And I really appreciate this, guys. As I said, I'll plug you. Just send me the stuff. I'll give it away. You know? So that's just, you know. And anybody wants to sponsor me, feel free. I won't turn you down.
You're a shield, Rick. You're a shield.
I know. And well, what else I was going to mention? I can't. No. Oh, I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, I have a Patreon page. As you can see it on my lower thirds, what it is. You know, that's before I set all this up before I came up with my good name of Rick's Life as I see it. You know, otherwise that would have been it. But I mean, so my real name's out there. You know, I got nothing to hide. You know, if anybody wants to steal my identity, feel free. You ain't going to get very far.
Right. You're going to get a bunch of bills. Is usually what I tell people.
Yeah, that's what they're going to get off of me, too. They steal my identity. And you can have them. There we go. All right. We've got 5 minutes to go. So, any last thoughts from the panel? Black Cat. You're sitting there very quietly. He must have gone off on me. He's mic'd up there, but he's not talking to me. All right. Clover.
No, I don't have anything. I mean, thanks for the invite, Rick. Appreciate it. Always fun. If and when I can jump on.
I appreciate it. John Z, good to see you, buddy. Another one that's left me. You know, Night Strikes hardly said a thing all afternoon.
Shout out the infringed.
Good man. That's what I like to hear.
There we go.
Patriot, I'm glad you made it in here.
Yeah, it took a while, but I'm persistent.
That's it. I appreciate you joining in.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
That's right. I mean, now everybody who I send a link to, if you don't come in, if you can't make it, don't worry about it. I sort of have a preset mailing list. I just put everybody's name in there. And if you come in, you come in. And if you don't, you don't. Webb, you're the one
I got
to add to my list.
Oh, great. I'm added to your list.
Yeah.
That could be a bad thing. I'm on a lot of people's lists. It's usually a list with 4 letters in front of it. Thanks for keeping me company while I'm here doing driveway repair.
That's all right. No problem. And I also say thank you to everybody in the chat rooms who make this all possible. Without you, I'll just be sitting here talking to myself. So, and I want to say thank you to Midnight for not turning it into a food chat. I appreciate that. And
there's still time.
There's still time, yeah, I know, but I'm going to ignore him. So, anyway, I'm going to cut it down a couple of minutes early. So I want to say thank you, everybody, for being here, and I will see you Wednesday. Now, it's the 4th of July. I'll be here Wednesday at 7 p.m. It might not be an hour long, but I'll be here. If you're around, join me. If not, have a great time. See you then. Goodbye.